Hello and welcome to another GeoGuessr video. You may or you may not have noticed that I've been a part of another video on the GeoGuessr Pro community channel. I'll link you to it in the description if you haven't. But in said video, I'm talking in the past here, though at the time of recording this is in the future. It's going to be 2 days from now? No, tomorrow. Recording this on Friday, it'll be on Saturday. We do a race in Santo Domingo, which means we have a starting and a finish point, and we get to plan out our route, and then it just comes down to who gets to the finish point the fastest. Now I can quickly show you my route, or what I hope to be my route, because the problem with Santo Domingo is that its coverage is severely broken. Which means that there's a lot of, well, I say a lot. There's one company that did their own Google Street View coverage of the city. I can probably show you that pretty easily. There you go. You can't see it in the top here, but I think it's called AB Gadgets or something. And, well, oh, yeah, I can see it here. Yeah, it is. And you can see the quality, it's not great. And so route is gone. Well, I remembered it anyway. And so you tend to well, let me start by this. If you click anywhere in the town or in the city, there's a good chance you'll be placed in that coverage instead of the official Google coverage, because for some reason Google seems to prefer other people doing their stuff. And that's not very good. The main problem with that is that you can't see where the Google coverage stops. Like, you can't see where there is no Google coverage. That means it's very difficult to plan out your route, because usually in GeoGuessr you can't really switch between different coverages. So you just end up stuck. So you need to manually check every one of these turns to see whether you can actually continue that way, which also explains why my route is the way it is. I'll show you an example of that pretty soon. If you focus on this part right here, you can actually see it there if you're at just the right assume level. You can, if you look really closely, you can see that there's two different lines in blue. The line that stops short about 50 meters off the bigger road is the Google coverage. Google didn't go back to the main street here. They stopped here. So if you're in the Google coverage, you can't go down that road. As I've said before, you can't really see that though. That's one of the more obvious examples, but you can't, that's another one. But the thing is, you can go through here. I'll show you that soon when we get to the actual route. Now, that actual route, there's a couple of ways you can make this work. At the start, unfortunately, I even thought I double checked, but I mixed up the start and the end point. This right here, this is our start point, and all the way down at the bottom here, let me just quickly wait, where was it? Over there, there. This right here is our end point. So if it was the other way around, it'd be quite simple. You start here, go down there, and you follow that road all the way over here somewhere, and then you actually have to think about what you're doing. This way around, it's the other way. You first have to think about how to get to that road, and then you continue. There's a couple different ways to do that in theory. I didn't check out every single one of them if they're possible. Also, the important part why I even noticed in the end that I mixed the start and the finish point up is because the other way around isn't possible. You cannot, from down there, get to here, because there's 4 different entry points to, well, okay, there's 2 different entry points to here, which is mainly this entry point. Actually, there's this one as well. There's 3. This point, and this point. If you look at the coverage, you can see nothing else is possible. Like, you could theoretically say, well, you could come from here and go through these streets down there, but that's not possible. There's a gap here. So what you have to do would be to find, like, go down either of those streets and go through here and go up there. That's not possible because the coverage is broken. Google stops. If you come down this road, Google stops here. You can't go past there. All you can do is go up or down. That's not a problem theoretically, because you still got 3 other points left. You could go down here, over there, and try it from this side to this entry point. Problem is, Google coverage stops here. You can't go there, you can't continue to there. It's not possible. No worries, still 2 other points. You could go up there, all the way over here. Google coverage stops there. You can't go down this road. Not possible. Which only leaves 1 entry point, which is the same as here, but from the other direction. Can go down here, but Google coverage stops right around here in this direction. So it's not possible to go there on any of the 4 points. So I was like, am I missing something here? And yes, I was missing something here. It's the other way around. Anyway, let's get back to my routes. Now, what I came up with is this. You go down, well, you start off east or southeast. You go down here. There's only really one way to follow. You follow the main road. And as you saw before, this isn't possible. So we need to go over here to get to a main road. Once you're here, there is now 2 different possibilities for you to go from here that are realistically quick. I mean, technically you could go all the way around here and go off into the middle of nowhere, but that's not a viable race strategy. You could either go down here. Now, bear in mind, I haven't actually checked out the other options here. I know they're possible based on there's coverage there, but I don't know if the Google coverage stops. It shouldn't though, because I checked it out from the other direction, but it still might. You have either you go down here all the way to this mess, or you take the route over here, go straight down there and to here. I know you have to go straight down there, and you can't branch off here, which is what I originally would have wanted, because you can't. This roundabout doesn't let you go east. So I decided for the route that has less of an issue with broken coverage, which is this one. I feel like this route may be less complicated to remember, although this isn't exactly, like, it's not exactly complicated either. But that being said, in a race, you want to have the least complicated route possible if you don't have to, like, years to prepare for it, whatever. The less complicated, the better, if there's not a big time difference. The main problem here are these kinds of things. These big junctions are horrible to navigate through because of the broken coverage. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that later on, because there is one that I cannot avoid. There's one of those junctions that I have to go through if I want to be in any way efficient with the route. Okay, so I went this way, go down there, turn around here, go down there, and follow the road to the bigger road down here. There's nothing much to remember here. I just need to remember, once I go past this hospital right here, or this clinic, and hit the main road, I walk east to the next junction and then walk south. Just straight on following the road till you hit the big road. Once you're there, quite easy in general. You just follow that one to the east and keep going all the way to Juan Duarte. Now, it's quite easy to recognize Juan Duarte. You'll see why in a second, or well, not in a second, but you'll see why when I show you, because this is an underpass and it's the only one up until that point. So you go there. Important here, you need to branch off to a side road because we need to turn towards the south here. You can't do that when you're staying on the underpass and going down there. All right, so you do that. You cross that junction and you head south. And then comes the horrible part of this race, Juan Bosch. Because this junction is awful to navigate through. Not only because you have a very limited amount of points that you can travel to on this junction in Google Street View coverage, but mainly because even if you go the right way, which in this case is, I think it's somewhat down here, up there or something, even if you manage to do that, there's about 2 or 3 instances here where the coverage you get shown is completely wrong. But you can't let that bother you because you need to continue that way, otherwise you won't make it over here. Once you've navigated through that hell, it's supposed to be smooth sailing. I say that because at this point, I haven't tried it yet in this direction. I've tried it in the other direction. There was not a single issue there. I mean, there was the usual, maybe don't go off the road there. You need to make sure to stay in the middle of the road, things like that. But it wasn't an issue. We'll see pretty soon whether it'll be an issue here. But you just follow the road. In these kinds of scenarios, when the road branches off, it's usually not an issue whatever direction you take, because it'll lead you back together right here. So I'll put the route down as this, but it'd be perfectly reasonable if it takes me down here. Won't be an issue, I hope, as long as it works. You go all the way down here, follow the route here. That might be another point where I might have to be a bit careful, but it usually shouldn't be an issue. I'm assuming the road here looks a lot different than the road does here. Then you go down here. Another one of those junctions that should not be an issue though if you cross it just straight, if you go straight through it. And then you hit the sea. And once you've hit the sea, you know you've done it pretty much. Just follow the sea. And there's quite a good reference point here to make sure that you're actually on the right track. That is here. Again, you'll see it pretty soon during my practice run, but that you can't miss that. It's a very obvious reference point. And the only important thing here is that you may have noticed, but this is actually 2 different roads. And to get to our end place here, we need to be on the northern road. Now, that makes it very important to branch off here. We need to get onto this road here. And then we can, I think you can actually cross over around here somewhere not far away from this overpass here. But just for the sake of, because I just saw that connection there, I thought let's do it here. It's somewhere in this area. And it's not that difficult to do. Much easier than the Bosch junction. And once you're here, the only thing you do is there's a gas station here. And at that gas station, you just head north. And you take the 6th road to the east, which is this one right here. And there's a blue, I don't know what it is. It's a building of some sort that's blue. You take you take a right there and you hit the finish line. 25.5 kilometers. If 25.5 kilometers was in a straight line, it should be doable in 5 minutes roughly, maybe 6 or 7. I know that one of the people, I know that someone has in Discord tried it and he got 17 minutes roughly. And I think that's realistic because there's a lot of, especially around here, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. In terms of different routes, I did think about switching it up a bit. the thing is, there's only 3 crossing points here. And I think these two, actually I'm not even sure if they are. No, this one isn't possible unless you can jump that, but I'm not sure you can. And this one is possible, but you can't go back up from here, so you'd have to somehow make your way over there. And there's a lot of broken coverage that you can see right here. So I don't even want to try to make that work. So this is the only really realistic point of crossing the river. You could argue that you've got up here, but that is so far out of the way that I don't think it's realistic. Like, you could branch off here, make your way up there, and maybe try to make that happen. But actually, what am I talking about? It's the other way around. You could try to make that happen to over there and maybe go that way, but I think that would be slower. Other things you could try is you could go past water and make your way through here, which would allow you to skip Juan Bosch, which is something I'll actually have to think about now that I think of it. I don't know how easy it is to branch off here. Like, see things like this, like you can go here, presumably, and then you might get stuck here. If you go here, you might make it down there. If you try it this way, you can see a bit of, I don't know if that's broken coverage or if it's just the line's broken a bit. And I think you might not be able to branch off onto the main highway here, because a lot of this, what you can't see on the map right here, a lot of this highway is up in the air. Like, you're like about 5-6 meters over ground. So you might not even be able to turn back onto it. You might have to go onto here on this road and then make your way back onto the highway, which I think could be worth it if I struggle a lot with Juan Bosch, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Are there any other points that could save time? I did think about branching off here and just going through this and maybe making my way down here, but as you can see right here, there's no road really that branches off here except this one, which isn't covered. So the only real way for you to get down into here would be to take this mess over here and then make your way down through here, and then you can sort of make your way over there and through here, and there's just a lot of different branching off you have to do that you have to remember, because you can't make yourself notes or anything of the like. Oops, just stay there. Anything else that could be beneficial? There is one other way that is possible that I don't know if it's faster. I think it's slightly longer, which is what I originally tried when I went up here, was to go this way and then over here, because I don't know, you stay longer on the highway, I guess. Not really. The problem is, in this direction, you can only exit this junction to the west if you go around here. You can't go here, you can't go here, you can't go here. It's only this one that's possible. And I don't know how that would look the other way around, but I think it's slower anyway. And yeah, that should be all the possible different routes covered. And now I'll give you a quick overview. Well, I say overview. I'll show you the recording of my personal best time within GeoGuessr already, because doing it in Google Maps has a couple of issues. You can see here you need to go back and forth to actually switch the road there. You just head towards the end there, turn past the hospital, go east there, hit the junction, turn to the south there. Up until this point, then you just go straight. Up until this point, there shouldn't really be any issues. I've memorized it perfectly. memorize the whole route pretty much perfectly if everything goes right. There's always the problem of, here we hit the roundabout where we just need to go straight on. There's always a problem of occasionally GeoGuessr likes to yeet you off the road into someplace else, and you need to go back. There we are now onto the highway. I just following that for the foreseeable future for the next like 2 minutes or so. Actually, yeah, maybe. And if you go off the highway, it can be difficult to make your way back into the position where you can continue. I do, after I've practiced about 5 runs or so. Here you can see another one where it wanted to go on a different road than the one I wanted to go on. And on that side road there, you actually can't continue. That's another one of broken coverage where you just need to figure out. I've already solved the problem, I just haven't figured it out yet. That I'm actually in this situation, not in this one. The other one, I'm actually on the right side. Here, I'm on the right side of the bridge, and I just need to continue going east. And here is Juan Duarte. And in GeoGuessr, because when I was talking about it in Google Maps, it's terrible. But in GeoGuessr, it's actually a lot easier to solve. You see what I did just there? You just take the arrow keys and make sort of a curve in there. And that puts you right where you need to be. That is also a little side road that you often end up in just because GeoGuessr likes to put you there, I guess. But it's not a major issue if you realize quickly enough that you've been put there. Now, this is Juan Bosch, which is a bit more difficult. And I still kind of rely on luck. You need to get to this point. That's pretty clear to me. Yeah, well, you don't need to, but you can solve the problem of Juan Bosch by going to this point. That's why you also see me try that a couple of times. And now suddenly it put me right where I needed to go, and I can just continue on east. The important part at Juan Bosch is just to, again, put me under the highway there and need to go back, need to go onto the highway. The thing with Juan Bosch that is very important to remember is that you need to go the direction of the horse statue. That's helpful if you know that, because it allows you to not always have to check the compass before figuring out, okay, I'm at the right point now. Again, this is just following the highway from this point onwards for the next like 4 minutes or 3-4 minutes. There's this situation right here where you want to take the southernmost highway here, because it's the one where GeoGuessr fucks you up the least. Let's just say it like that. If you go the northern highway, there's a good chance you'll get yeeted off the highway, and well, that's never fun. Here you see the bridge over the river. Again, it doesn't really matter which bridge you take. I prefer the southern one. And now we get close to the last real issue here. Well, that might be 2. Again, here you can take any of the different 4 or 5 lanes. They'll look slightly different, but you kind of want to stay towards the south because that's where the reference points are. And right coming up now is a good reference point. This one right here. There was a road to the south branching off. You want to remember that because you need to take the next one. And then you just follow the highway continuously. Just again, stay in the middle of the highway from then onwards until you hit the sea, because there's a couple of roads branching off there. And you don't really want to get caught up so close to the finish line. But again, I'm here slightly off track. I need to get back onto the highway. And you see me doing that right there. And yeah, again, from then on, we're close to the sea now. You should be able, there it is. What you saw right there to the left bottom of your screen, that was an underpass. Going through that actually is a bit quicker than this road. It leads to the same place, but you'd be on the left side here of the road instead of on the right side. And the right side has a bit of broken coverage, which makes it more difficult to traverse. So the left, going through that underpass and being on the left side saves maybe, I'd say about 10 to 15 seconds overall. And you need, because the thing is you need to get to the left side anyway, because you need to turn left close to the finish line. What you want to do while going down this highway is you need to go to the left eventually. So you want to kind of click towards the left side of your screen eventually, and try, as you saw right here, try to make your way over to this road, because it's a bit disconnected from the highway. And if you actually make it to my reference point right at the end, you'll struggle. This is actually my reference point right here, the bridge that we just crossed, but I've memorized this so much that it actually doesn't matter. This is also a side road that GeoGuessr likes to put you on. Again, just make your way out of it. It just means you're close to the finish line. Now, this is the gas station that you need to turn into. And then it's the 6th road off to the right. In this run, unfortunately, I missed it. The road is right there. I went past it. And I was like, what is this horse? I don't recognize this. And I hit a dead end eventually here. And I figured I'd have to turn it back around and find it. But it's not difficult to do. You just go back and there's this blue building right here that you turn on, going down this small road. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little explanation video. I'll see you guys next time.